Got another super chat. This one is from Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat, Red Wings 01, who writes, Ron expressed his frustrations with players not getting vaxxed. Do you think he's handling it the right way? I don't question their choices, but the NFL has put coaches between a rock and a hard place. So let's have that discussion right now, because Ron was a little vexed about the vaccine. I thought, and me and Condoleezza Perry, we both spoke on this when Ron at the OTAs pretty much put the players on blast and put them in an awkward position to have to answer questions that they shouldn't have had to answer. I thought he handled that situation poorly. However, I thought Ron did the best he could with the situation today, but we knew how Ron felt back in OTAs when he put the players essentially on blast and put them in an awkward position to have to answer questions that I didn't think they should have had to answer. So we already knew where he stood on this. His position hasn't changed. He talked about this, and he was very candid back in June when we were in OTAs. He wanted herd immunity. That's what the league wants. That's what he wants. He wants the players. He keeps talking about they just need more information. And he even said it today. At this point, they should have all the information that they need, but they need more information. It ain't about players needing more information. Guys have made their decision already. They're not getting the vaccine. Now, what I think Ron didn't do a good enough job of doing today was shutting down the notion. And again, he's right in saying this, but as a coach as a face of a franchise, you want to dispel any notion of any potential dissension within your locker room. So I didn't think he did a good enough job of kind of quelling that. Don't let that fester. Don't let that come up in the media. Like, shut that down now. I don't even want to talk about that shit. So you shut that down aggressively when it's first asked, and the media gets they get the point and the message that you're trying to send by shutting it down aggressively with the firm tone. Like, look, that's one thing we won't have in this locker room. Everyone's going to respect everybody's opinions. We may not always agree on everything. We may not agree on it. But see, that's not what Ron's trying to promote. Much like the league, he's trying to promote getting this vaccine. And Ron even went as far as to say, look, guy, not only, I can't predict whether we'll have dissension in the locker room and will players, be, at each other's necks because of this, but they also got to realize that it's not only you that you may be costing yourself a paycheck, but if we can't play a game and we got to forfeit, you're costing everybody a paycheck. You put that extra sauce on it too. Like, I know what Ron's doing. Ron's got an agenda here, and I'm not saying that Ron's out here trying to be political. Ron's trying to do what's in the best interest of him and his team, which is get as many players as he can vaccinated. Because if they're vaccinated, it's going to make his job that much easier. And if a situation were to arise, the more players you have vaccinated, the easier it's going to be to circumvent any kind of mishaps or missteps that you have during the course of the season. The more players you don't have vaccinated, it becomes a little bit more dicey. So I know what Ron's trying to do. This has nothing to do with making a political statement. It's more about, look, man, I'm trying to put us in the best position to win games. It's a fine line that you walk, though. You don't want to lose players. You don't want to seem standoffish, and you don't want to force anybody. And Ron did say, you can't force guys to do anything, but you can't say that out of one side of your mouth and then the other side of your mouth, you're like, but they need to make the right decision. Like, you can't have it both ways. Either you're going to give guys the space and freedom to make their own decisions and live with it either way, or you're not. I think he's straddling both sides of the fence right now. He's trying to tightrope, but we know what he wants. He wants these players to get vaccinated. And right now, last time we checked, they were at 63%. They're one of the lower teams in the league. I don't see it getting too much better than that. You may get a few more guys that were on the fence. They get here. They talk to a couple of players that did get vaccinated. They say, hey, look, man, you know, you're doing this for the good of the team and yourself and your family and that and this, that, and the third. And you may get a couple of guys that are able to be convinced, but a lot of these people that don't have the, you know, the vaccine, that haven't gotten the vaccine, they know what they're doing. They have made a conscious decision to not get it. They are aware that there are variants out there. They don't want the vaccine, and that's fine. So do I think he handled it well? I think he handled it well enough. Could he have handled it better? Yes, I do think he could have handled it better. He handled it much better than he did back in June, where I thought he put the players in an awkward position and left them out to dry. He did not do that this time, but I do think you can kind of see where this could become an issue if he allows it to. I've said this already. This is not a big deal until it becomes a big deal. Now, you don't want to go the Montez Sweat route where you say, I'm not treating COVID until I get COVID. That's not the way to address this. You want to be out in front of this thing, much like they did with Jonathan Allen and Logan Thomas. You want to get out in front of these situations. You don't want to wait till somebody gets COVID and you only got 66% vaccination rate, and now you got to postpone or even cancel a game and forfeit. You want to try to get as many of these guys vaccinated so you lessen the chance of having something like that take place. That said, as I've said last year, and Ron said this himself today, we were one of the best teams in the league at staying COVID-free last year. Now, I've also made this point. We're living in a different world this year, as we sit here on July 27th, than we were last year this time, when everything basically was shut down and you couldn't do shit. So all there really was you go to practice, you take your ass, and you go back home. That's all there was to do because there wasn't anything open. There was, you know, the whole world, essentially, the U.S. at least, was shut down unless you were living in Florida or Texas, because those are two different countries. Everywhere else was shut down, essentially. So you weren't able to do anything. The world is a lot more open now. So you can go to restaurants. You can go out to the club. You can go out to a bar and have a drink. You can socialize. You can have gatherings of 30 people or more. You couldn't do that last year. So the possibility to get COVID or be in a situation where you get COVID, it's a lot greater this year than it was last year. That said, the guys did a tremendous job. Ron acknowledged that. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You don't want to get the vaccine. You know the rules. You know the risks. You know the parameters. You know what's at stake. You're acknowledging that. And if I were Ron, that's how I would address the team. Look, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to try to force you. You, all of us in this room are grown-ass men and women. All of us. So us as coaches, we don't have the choice. If we want to work here, we have to get the vaccine. But you players do have a choice. And whatever choice you decide to make, we're going to support you 110%. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I would prefer you get the vaccine. But if you don't want to do that, I'm going to coach you the exact same way as somebody that does have the vaccine. And we're going to come together as a team, and we're going to try to win as many ball games as possible. All that I ask is that you do your part. If you're not vaccinated, you've got to work extra hard, harder than the guy that's vaccinated, to make sure that you keep yourself safe and keep us as your teammates and your family safe. So I'm going to put the onus on you if you're not vaccinated. Don't bring that shit here. Don't put yourself in a position that you jeopardize us here. You made the decision not to get the vaccine. That's fine. I respect your decision. Just make sure you're making the right decisions when you leave this facility. That's all. That's how you address that. I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt because last year you took care of business. Don't make me look like a fool. That's how I would address it. We'll see what happens. Thank you for the super chat. Red Wings 01.